Howdy folks, it's Thios here, and welcome back to Greedfall. When last we left off, final confrontation. 5, 5, 6, 5, 5, 5.
Shadow engulf our enemies. Your magic is running out. Take a potion.
Alright, queue him up. I forget that we have, who do we have left? Just 3, so we have one more in our party than usual. So either it's gonna be that way like this rest of the game. What is going on with this fuzziness? Is it just like the heat from the area we're in? Seems that way. But yeah. Having an extra hand during this last bit is certainly nice. I wonder how long that'll last. If someone else isn't going to stay behind when we get to the next phase. Definitely like to be able to choose who stays with me this time.
There you are. I was starting to think that we would die here for nothing. Your cousin just passed through here with a horde of beasts, and he keeps sending us more.
We won't hold very long. We're not used to fighting creatures like these.
We are, and we will hold long enough for you to reach the heart, even if we must die in the process. But you must chase him. You must prevent him from performing the ritual at all costs. If Enon Milfrictiman dies, we're all doomed.
I'm well aware of that, believe me. But here come some more beasts. To arms!
Alright, here we go. Come on. Good taking your time. Alright, we'll come to you then.
Protect me in this battle.
There's poison on my blade. And let's go! Let's see if those conger eels know how to fight. Take a potion if you want to cast more spells.
Ow.
Armor will no longer protect you. Let's see if those conger eels know how
Your
to
magic
fight.
is running out. Take a potion.
Come, Renaigze. You will pay for what your brothers have done.
Pay for your arrogance,
Take him down.
Wait. I'll stay with my
No,
people.
Ciora.
And I'll stay with her. One blade more can't hurt.
What the heck?
We need to prevent the beasts from following your tracks.
Yeah, we could use some help here, to be honest.
I wouldn't have put it that way, but the Moridigan isn't wrong.
We're gonna lose all our
See?
companions.
Over and done.
You should go now. And may the volcano give you its strength.
Dang it.
Well, good luck.
It's just me and Don Quixote. Oh man. Don Quixote. There's 2 of us now. We've never been with just 2. But it's okay. We can make it if we try. Right? You know, if it's just you and I. Alright. Oh boy. You know, this is like the... Oh, no. Are we there? We're at that point. Abandon and leave. Okay, we're at 300. Okay. I guess it's the people we had in the party. Can we, like, drop stuff? Can we drop? Drop. Alright, we're not picking up anything else. Can't do it, because we just don't have the capacity anymore. So those other companions, I finally figured that out. Those other companions who were giving us the weight bonus. Which makes sense. Does that mean it... Oh gosh, there's only 2 of us.
The enlightened protect me in this battle.
And we're freaking both.
Your armor is falling apart.
There's only Ow. Dagnabbit. Only two of us, and we're both magic casters. This is awful. Just awful. Alright. Oh, nope, nope, nope. Alright, okay, so we're definitely saving here. I know there's other stuff that we can drop to make this not be a problem. But it doesn't really matter at this point. Alright, so let's do another hard save. So that we don't have to keep doing that in case we get our shit kicked in again. Because we're two magic ring people. Alright.
May the enlightened protect me in this battle.
Alright.
Be careful. Your armor is falling apart.
Freaking.
May the shadow engulf our enemies. Your magic is running out. Take a poke.
Yeah, it's fine. Just freaking get enough to stasis them. I said I wasn't going to pick up anything else. It's instinctual, man. Playing an RPG, I gotta take stuff. That cloud moved around. Alright, sorry boys. Alright, now we're with the Teleme people.
There you are. Praise the enlightened. Your cousin...
Has already reached the heart. Our other allies informed me. They are also trying to stop the creatures.
What do you intend to do?
Pursue him all the way there and do everything I can to stop him.
In that case, may the enlightened keep you in his divine... Oh no. More beasts are coming. Be prepared!
Mm-hmm. Is it just us?
May the enlightened protect
Oh
me in
my
this
goodness.
battle.
Definitely.
Your magic is running out. Take
That's
a potion.
fine.
May the shadow engulf our enemies.
Good
This
lord.
time it's my turn. I'm staying with my people.
Person.
I knew you'd
There's
say
like
that.
one person here.
Well, I wasn't going to let the young ones get all the glory.
Your help would be a blessing, Father.
You see? You should go now, my child. Be careful. We are all praying for your success.
Thank you, Petrus. Be careful too.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave that stuff there. Now it's just us. This is gonna be a problem. Here we go. I'm not a fan of that. I don't like having my party members just up and leave me like that. We're with you till the end. Here we go. It's the Emil Frichtman chamber. And then they just screw off. We're gonna be with our own factions. Screw you, Sardet.
Constantin!
Restrain him!
Oh my gosh. What is that? No, no, no. Are you kidding me? I gotta fight this thing on my own? Where the fuck is he? Yee. No, thank you. No, thank you, sir. What are you? Hit it. Alright, you do that, and then 6 it up. Goodness me. Alright, 8 it up. Oh my gosh. And that thing is ugly as sin. Alright, come on. Get armored out of here. Dagnabbit. Press the wrong freaking button. Alright. Drink another potion. Alright, we gotta heal up. Oh boy. Alright. 3. Heal up a little bit. Good. Gosh, this thing. Owie. Yeah, damn it. Alright, heal up. 6 it up. 8 it up. Good lord. They're not for stasis. Woo! Good. Dagnabbit. I swear. Freaking press 2. And it doesn't do a thing. Alright, take that. Drink up. I know it's a bit of a waste, but freaking need it. Freaking. Oh, come on, come on. Heal up. Woo!
No! Stop! Step back.
Well.
I do not desire your death. I'm sorry.
Why? Why have you done this?
But for you. For us. So that we may live free at last.
This makes no sense. Constantin, it's madness.
You don't understand because you're still attached to the old world. This old, dying world which, to survive, has betrayed, used, and manipulated us and would not have hesitated to kill us.
Perhaps, but
I've seen death, cousin. And I understood the vanity of it all. My father's ruses just so he could earn more power. The political bowing and scraping to preserve corrupted nations. I have been offered unrivaled power, allowing me to get rid of this. To send the old world back to its inevitable death and to build something new here. Something unique. And this new world is my gift to you. You and I could be its new gods. The immortal and benevolent monarchs.
He himself is the incarnation of the old world he is speaking of. He has its vices and its poison. For his own immortality, he's prepared to destroy everything around him, to break millennia of cycles. I implore you, flesh of my land, think of all the lives that will come to an end to feed his pride.
Don't listen to this old god. He's like all the others, after all, clinging to life. All you have to do is to bind yourself here, with me, and we will be gods together, forever.
Okay, so yeah, they're gonna give us a choice. And Huh. For this Sardet, it's not a tough choice. Well, it is a tough choice because you had to kill your cousin. Your beloved cousin that you're good friends with. You've known basically your whole life. So yes, this is a tough choice for him personally. Like morally and characteristically, it's not a difficult choice with the way that we've played this Sardet. And so what it's trying to do here is trying to like create a dilemma with the Sardet because he's of both worlds. Well, apparently he's from this world. We don't know who our daddy is. We assume that daddy is from here as well, or he could be from the continent. So it could be literally like, you know, a half and half thing. Or he could have, you know, been full Islander, full Tierfordian, and just lived the life on the continent. And so it's trying to say, is like, are you going to choose... Basically, are you going to choose the island side or the colonial side? And is it an interesting choice? It... Possibly. The choice in itself, probably not so much as the consequence of it. So... the consequence of this, it could end up being a good and bad thing, right? Where Sardet's thinking, okay, yeah, we can do this, and I can keep him in check and find out a way to free him of what's going on with him. Or we can say he's too far gone, and he's destroying everything. When in fact it could be Emil Frichtmann's still, you know, pulling strings behind the scenes. I'm still very skeptical of Emil Frichtmann. With this choice. So we're gonna kill Constantin. As hard as it is for Sardet to do, he's got to do it. He believes what he's doing is right and to save the world, basically.
Come. Oh, what a shame. Good night, sweet prince.
Oh god, that thing. Alright, what's happening here? Is this the end?
After the fall of Constantin, my young student managed to establish stronger links between the old nations and the natives. Some of their Donegada were even invited to the continent, and with their help, it slowly became a land filled with life again. And for the first time in a long while, the number of cases of the Malicor is decreasing. Those who bravely fought at Dorhad Genadu were celebrated everywhere. After all, if it weren't for this unlikely alliance, the island would have fallen into Constantin's greedy hands. Sieglinde took Kurt as an advisor, but he insisted on keeping his place alongside his former student and friend, watching his back, as he always had. Siora obtained the title of Marl of the Red Spears alongside her twin. She leads them with wisdom, but often reunites with the one she still calls her Karants. Afra set aside her weapons and went back to her research on the native culture and flora of the island. It is said that she is even writing a book with the help of Dunkas's clan when not visiting her friends. For his bravery, Vasco was awarded the rank of commander. He now travels the sea at the head of a whole fleet, but he often comes back to visit his brother-in-arms. Petrus's ambitions have finally been fulfilled. He obtained the much-coveted title of Cardinal. Despite the responsibilities implied by such a title, he still sometimes visits the one he calls his child. Despite the help Ulan received, which allowed him to restore the importance of the seaside Nemeus, he still had to renounce the role of Marl as he faced the contempt of the other clans. Her friendship with Aranaikse helped Deirdre to overcome her reticence. She willfully accepted to follow the orders of her new High King. Dunkas and his people spent a lot of time with savants and theologians. Patiently, they shared their knowledge of the earth and learnt new techniques from one another, and in so doing, they restored balance between the New World and the Old. Following the investigations revealing the horrifying practices of Dr. Asili, the Alliance changed their methods and even appointed an ethics council to oversee the work of its scholars. The public revelations of Saint Matthias's life led to a deep change in Teleme. The Ordo Luminis was dismantled for good, and the missionaries' purpose is now to establish dialogue rather than conversion. Aware that their culture of secrets would lead them to their demise, the Nords changed their methods. They welcomed numerous new recruits amongst them, notably natives. Under Sieglinder's control, the Guard returned to the honorable values that had made its reputation, despite the negative influence of some shady members in their midst.
Okay. So that was Greedfall. Well, I gotta say that story-wise and pacing, as far as a first-time playthrough, it kind of, I was easily led off, right? Because, like, basically the last, I don't know, 5 to 10 hours was all main story, because I was able to get through the side missions, which I wasn't aware that I was, going through all the side missions. It's, so I don't know how to, like, I'm not going to place blame on it. Like, I don't think it's partly me in the way that I justified going through different quests, but also kind of there are other games that are able to remedy this, of like someone going through all the side quests too quickly, is by like having difficulty curve, right? Difficulty curve, or breaking it up into chapters where you don't have access to these side missions until after you like integrate the side missions more into the main story enough to where you wouldn't be able to do certain things. You wouldn't be able to do certain side quests until you get to a certain point in the main story. And so I think that's definitely something that they can improve upon, in terms of just having everything out there available to do from basically the beginning. Like if I was better and more patient, I probably could have gotten through the arena stuff. But that was like the only place where you had like a difficulty to where you weren't able to complete a quest right away. And I understand, it's just something that there's a lot of rough around the edges with this game and with a lot of Spiders games in particular. They've definitely improved from things like Technomancer. And like I've said before, it's something that I think they could benefit a lot. And now we're back to this menu. I think they can benefit a lot from sticking with one property to build a game around. I don't know where you go from here in this world, because you have like a big decision that was made by the player at the very end that changes the world drastically. And so it kind of be hard to move into the next phase of a different story and set in this time if like it would be even hard to like carry over decisions you've made from this game into the next game, because the main story is also a big like make a decision, right? And so you kind of have to basically choose which thing happened, make one of those decisions canon if you're going to go with the next iteration of this game. But I don't think that's what they're going to do, because it's going to be too difficult to do now, based on they've written themselves in a quarter with this. Kind of like they've written themselves into this corner. And so they'll probably, I don't know what they're working on next, but they'll probably be working on something completely different and new. And it'll definitely, and they'll see probably again, more improvements, graphically in the way things go. As far as like graphically, I think they've improved a lot, because Technomancer is a pretty ugly game. That's partly the world that it's in, but also the way in the world is made. So, but this was a lot prettier, a lot more, a lot more detail can go into it versus what Technomancer had. And so I'm very, very happy with that aspect. I'm very happy that they've, improved in that area. As far as storytelling goes, I think they still have a lot to work on. Partly why I was able to get through, like, go side quest to side quest is because, like, the smaller stories that the side quests had were more interesting than what was going on main story-wise, which really wasn't a lot. Like, it took a while to get to antagonist. Like, a while. Like, 30 plus hours before you realize it's Constantin. Before you even meet, like, Enelmil Frichtemann, because at first you're thinking maybe it's Enelmil Frichtemann and he's the one who's, like, done the Malachor, and that, only takes you so far. Like, if we're gonna do I don't know. Again, maybe it's this thing of like doing a bunch of side quests and not doing enough main story at the time, but it seemed like going like it took a long time to get to like act 2 of the story versus it seemed like act 1 was really, really long. And it seemed like it was like 30 hours of gameplay before we got even close to getting around to anything interesting in the main story versus like maybe like half that, right? You want to be able to identify like who or what the big bad of your protagonist is. You had smaller antagonists. You had the Doctor. You had Vinbar. You had the Coin Guard. So there were like a lot of small, and that's why like there are a lot of antagonists for like the side missions that were a lot more interesting than the main quest stuff. And that's where it's like as far as like story goes, it really brings the game down for me. And this is pretty average to below average in terms of just how it went. And as far as me like going back and trying something different, playing a different Sardet, it hasn't like that. Going through that story again doesn't interest me at this point in time, which is unfortunate. But I don't know. We'll see what Spider does from here. Hopefully, I mean, it's been the trajectory, like if you put it on a graph, you know, the bar has been going up and up and up. It hasn't been, you know, up and down. It's just been a constant, like the bar doesn't go up as high. It doesn't have like the highs of, you know, CD Projekt Red and the Witcher series, which was like, you know, big. You know, Witcher 1 was a janky mess, but it was their first game, so you get a little deal. And then Witcher 2 was really, really great. And then Witcher 3 was a masterpiece. And then you get, you know, Cyberpunk, which kind of puts it back down here. I don't see Spider, you know, reaching the heights of CD Projekt Red, but I don't see them also like plummeting either. But I think there's a lot they can learn from what they did with this game. I hope they take those lessons to heart, and I hope they can make something better. But it'll probably be in a new world that they create or buy the rights to. Because I don't know, I feel like this is an original thing that they've created. And it was interesting. The concept over execution. The concept was really, really interesting. Like a colonial fantasy game is not something that you see a lot. And it, you know, conceptually, there's a lot of interesting dynamics with, you know, fantasy natives and fantasy colonial nations, and you know, things going on there. And then you have like a old gods thing, and I don't know if they're doing like an old gods. It seems like Inon Milfrictimon is like the only one and only god in this universe. Like Ptolemy, they seem, you know, loosely based. Let's say loosely, you know, based on, you know, Spanish Inquisition era Catholicism. But as far as their, like the way theirs go, it doesn't seem like they have a lot of power in terms. They get a lot of power from their deity, if we're doing this in like a fantasy setting. And then you have the Bridge Alliance, who is you know, the Bridge Alliance and the Knots, who are all science-based, which I really liked a lot. I think the Knots were the most interesting. Apart from the natives, the Knots were the most interesting faction in this. I think that was pretty inspired. That faction, the Knots. Everybody else, it seems, were pretty, you know, we've seen this somewhere before. You know, you have your religious order faction, you have your, you know, big into science faction, you have your, you know, low technology but are big into, you know, the earth factions. You have your people who really like commerce and money in the merchant congregation faction. But the Knots, you don't see the Knots, you know, anywhere where it's like, we just, you know, we're a sea-based race. They say race, but, you know, they bring in, you know, any and all sorts. You have to be, you know, born of the sea and live your life, you know, on ships for the majority of your life. It's interesting. But anyway, I've been rambling on for a long time. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I enjoyed playing the game overall. I just was left with a bit of disappointment at the story of it. And I was hoping there would be a more interesting dynamic. And, you know, you know, higher it didn't feel as high stakes as it should have been. Right? But anywho, thank you guys so much for watching. This has been Zethios, signing out for now. Bye, folks.